All right, you guys, we are live, and this is going to be probably just a very interesting night of catching you guys up with some things. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to do a night of readings sometime this week. So I'm going to give it a minute for peeps to join, and then we'll chat some more. So let me give it a minute for everybody to hop on. So if you're here, say hello. Man, my reception here is not so great. Let's see here. Fix this. There we go. Maybe that's better. There we go. Okay. All right, guys. Hi. Hello, Jaden. How are you? I just thought I would hop on a little bit, and I wanted to kind of share some things with you guys about when I came on about a month ago. Matter of fact, it was I wrote it down, February 11th, when I came on and shared my thoughts and my kind of intuition of what I thought was going on in this Nancy Guthrie case. So I want to give it a little bit for people to join. So I'm really coming on just to kind of go through what we talked about or what I had brought up a month ago or so, I guess, February 11th, a little over a month ago. And then some really interesting things that have come out, from, the media and, whether it's the FBI or, law enforcement. But, in the beginning, I wasn't really getting too engrossed in this. But then someone had asked what I thought, and then I hopped on and, did a little bit of, meditation, connecting with, my gifts per se. And so if you guys remember on February 11th, I hopped on and gave you guys a whole spiel of the things that I was channeling, the things I was getting. So I wanted to hop on today because I literally, I've been kind of watching little bits throughout the last month on the news. So, and you guys know, I'm very honest. I'm going to tell you what I've seen, and and I'm kind of talk about that a little bit with something that's really just kind of gotten a little bit under my skin a little bit with some of the videos I've seen out there that just blow my mind with these people that are hopping on and channeling, quote unquote, and I can't say they're not a medium, but literally posting videos within the last couple days and saying they're predicting stuff that has been all over the news. So you guys know I am not going to be one of those type of people. So back in February when things were very new and I just shared everything with you guys, not much had come out, but I was very honest and raw with what I saw and what I knew. Well, the reason I wanted to hop on and share with you guys some of the updates or some of the things that I have seen come out, on the news or out on YouTube and whatnot. And these are pretty reputable resources, so I don't, some of the stuff out there is just, you just can't trust. So anyhow, so I just kind of wanted to go through this a little bit and just share with you guys, I do hope that I can do a night of readings, probably probably tomorrow night actually. So you guys watch for that. So if you're if you're up and you are wanting to get a reading and or hopefully be picked for a reading, hop on tomorrow. So let me get right into this. So a month ago, and you guys are more than welcome to comment or ask questions, if you have questions about about this, about the Nancy Guthrie case and how you guys, are feeling about it, or, if you're wanting to know how I feel about certain things. But going back a month ago on December 11th, I had to go back through and write everything back down too. So I had mentioned that I had felt that as Nancy came into her garage, that I really felt that she had left a back door open. And, some of us do that, right? We leave our back door open, it goes into the garage, into the house. And I felt like that her back door had been left open, and that's where the perpetrator came in and had the opportunity was there. Well, just within the last day, I think yesterday, maybe even today, they did hear from Nancy's family that she never would lock the back door. And so I watched another, if you guys know who Nancy Grace is, so, pretty reputable resource. And she had someone interviewing with her that actually had the layout or the floor plan of Nancy's home. And literally the door that she leaves open is into the garage. So that gave me goosebumps today. I was like excited, but also like kind of a little frustrated because there's so many things that I just feel are going to start coming out. And boy, I pray and I hope that this gets resolved, as soon as possible. And I'll talk about that. But I also, in February, I had mentioned that I had saw a kind of a vacant property, whether I had thought it was a church, a white building. I had mentioned that I saw as you come out of her home that you would go left. And one of my followers had actually posted on my last live that I did a map, and literally the way that it is to get out of Nancy's driveway and out of kind of the little cul-de-sac neighborhood she's in, you have to go out and go left. So then as you go left, then right, and I had heard this today, right behind Nancy's home. Now you got to remember these homes in Tucson, I used to live in Arizona, so lots of land, in between homes. So the fact that this home I had mentioned was about 2 miles away from where her house was, that I felt they needed to look there. Well, come to find out today, there is an abandoned home, and there is a home that is under construction that I think maybe had some stalled, construction, that they are now looking into. One of those homes, or the construction site, is literally a white colored building. So, and as mediums, when we get visions, they're not always, of course, like so exact, right? So you kind of have to take it and put the pieces together. But so that gave me chills when I heard about that. I also mentioned in February that I felt that they were going to find blood inside the home. There was blood droplets out the outside of the home at the entrance. I also felt that they had been inside the home. Unfortunately, the attack happened inside. They would find blood inside, and that they took her out the front door. They did report, again, these are some reputable resources, that there was blood inside the home. Hey guys, I'm not doing readings today, so sorry. I'm just kind of updating on a couple of the updates of the Nancy Guthrie case that people have been asking me. So then let's see. So then I wrote all this down. Oh, then also I had mentioned that I really felt they needed to check the desert area near the, between Tucson, Mexican border. Today, I just found out on, again, watching the Nancy Grace podcast, that the Pima County and the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department had helicopters that went to the border of Mexico and did a loop back around and went back to the FBI. So I'm not sure what that's about, but boy, it sure gave me goosebumps. Then I also felt that that this was not a random, kidnapping. I did feel it was targeted. It sounds like that they have narrowed it down to that this is targeted. Also, I kept seeing a white, if you guys remember, I kept seeing a white vehicle, and they are looking into a white vehicle that was caught on a camera on January 11th. Now, if you guys remember, I'd mentioned too that I felt they were casing the house weeks prior, and they have kind of, I guess, been looking into that. I don't know how else to word it, but and there is a white vehicle that was caught on a Ring camera on the day that she went missing, and that same vehicle was a couple of weeks before. So then let's see. Oh, this one just blew me away today. I literally saw this. This is what took me a minute to hop on. If you guys remember too, I had mentioned that they needed to look at the hand, that there was scars or there was a tattoo on the hand or the wrist. 6 hours ago, they reported that they were able to see a tattoo on the wrist of the perpetrator. I like minutes before I hopped on, just saw that that came up. Now, that resource is not one that I am too sure of, so I'm not gonna really put too much into that, but I thought that was very interesting. Also, some things that, now these are all things I talked about before that they've validated, but then some things that have not been really brought up in the media that article of clothing. I still feel like when they unfortunately find Nancy, which I do feel that she is unfortunately gone, that an article of clothing, I kept seeing a scarf, something like that will be close by. So, that may be something that they, have found, they've seen. Now, if you guys remember too, I wrote this down. This kind of really gave me goosebumps as well. But when I had saw my visions last time, I kept seeing 546, 546. Now, I got thinking, is that a number of a home? Is that a license plate? And then I kept feeling like this was more a date. So if you add up the numbers and 546, they equal the number 15. And then also 546, 5 is May, 4 and 6 is 10. Now this might be a little bit of a reach, but then wait till you hear this. I literally went out 15 weeks from when she went missing, which was technically February 1st, but January 31st was the last time they saw her. 15 weeks from that date is literally putting us at May 10th. I just thought, oh my gosh, okay, maybe this is, this might be a stretch. But then also the 45, if you guys remember, I kept saying the Roman numeral 45, and that would be, I kept feeling another date, which is April 5th. And we're getting very close to April 5th, to where I do feel we are going to have some kind of resolution or some more information that's going to come out. I really feel that by June, that is when they are going to have someone within custody that, I feel like this is going to start being able to be, in the process of being closed, if that makes sense. So then there were some other things that I haven't seen that have come out that still I'm going to put out there. There was something about, I kept seeing the name or street name with even almost like the initials HT. Not sure what that was about, but I'm just going to throw it out there. That also JS, there was a name with JS, initials JS, name JS. So Jason, Jensen, Jose, of that kind. Then the other thing I found was very interesting, I saw today also, is that they were going to send canine out that are specialized to pick up on remains, and so cadaver dogs. And they called that off. And then shortly after is when they mentioned the helicopters going to Mexico, and then coming back to, or the border of Mexico, and then coming back to, man, I'm all over the place, to the feds, So it's just interesting, everything, from February when I picked up on this, how many things are falling into kind of place per se. But again, these are things that, boy, I really hope, especially when I mentioned that I really felt that her doors were locked, and that's how the perpetrator got in way back in February. And now this has come out. So whether it's, they listen to the recording, because I did send the last live that I did send that into where you can send all of your stuff into the FBI. Thank goodness. So Susan, I don't know if Susan's on, Susan Kramer, she gave me the info and said, send this in, and she shared my video. So I don't even care if they heard that and that gave them a little bit, or if someone else did. Regardless, I'm just happy that they're now, kind of thinking outside that box, right? So, but so many things are starting to come out, and I'll tell you, I just, I unfortunately feel like that she was taken for money for ransom, but then unfortunately I feel she passed of just either, heart attack or a stroke, unfortunately. And then because they weren't planning on this, then they had to do something, unfortunately with her. So I just pray, I pray that she went very peacefully, which I do feel she did. Now there's some mediums out there that are posting videos that they're channeling Nancy Guthrie. Now, you guys know me. I am not one to just do that, I guess. I mean, if I feel I'm getting things, I'll share. I just have a hard time with that. I just personally. So I also have a hard time with the ones that come on and they're literally predicting the things that are already out in the media, so, but it's so sad, you guys. And I pray that this gets closed soon. I just can't help but feel all these things that were coming up, that in February are now starting to kind of fall into place. But, one thing that I can say is that I do feel without a doubt that she did go very peacefully. I really do. I don't feel like she was, in any pain, tortured at all. The fact that there's $1 million in, $1 million reward and nobody has come forward. And even they put it out there where it's anonymous. People can just go and whoever, if they have information, they just have to provide it. The money will just be like at a drop spot. Hello, someone knows something, but nobody wants to say anything because the risk outweighs the reward, right? So that's where I think we're at. But boy, I don't know, you guys. I hope. And Susan is here. Hi, Susan. I'm so glad that you gave me that info, hon. And even if they just listened to a little bit, I really hope it helped, But do you have any questions for me? I think someone did. Colleen said, what about the number of people that you thought were involved? I still feel it's 3. I still feel there's 3. I feel like there was 2 people that were the main, the perpetrator, then someone with them. And then I feel like the third party is someone kind of disconnected, and I still feel families involved, or someone connected with the family. I still feel that way. I really do. So, they did mention on the news that they cleared the family. However, they also will say these things because of the integrity of the case. So, you can't always believe, what comes out there. So, anyhow, let's see here. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at your comments. So, um, hi, guys. Oh, I just see everybody's on here. I've just been talking away and I didn't realize everybody was on here. Veronica, do you think they took her out of the country to Mexico? I think that they got pretty dang close. I think they're at least on the border, if not just barely over. And here's the thing, it's because, you know, knowing, because when I lived in Arizona and, you guys, you go through Tucson. And matter of fact, my husband and I went to the Tucson area, and we actually went to, my God, Tombstone. And, and that's really way out there, right on the close to the Mexico border. And they have tons of border patrol. They have tons of, officers out there. But it's so huge and so vast that, it would be unfortunately very easy to try to, go across and then, maybe give up. So yeah, I feel very, very close. Yeah. And the fact that today they just announced that there was the Maricopa County helicopter and the Pima County helicopter that flew to the border, both helicopters to the border of Mexico and Tucson, Arizona, and then came back and went back to the FBI headquarters. It just makes you wonder, right? Just makes you wonder. Let's see. Colleen, anything new about this being a revenge abduction out of jealousy or anger? Yeah, I do. I still feel that. I still feel that this was a revenge thing. Maybe to get back, like I said earlier, to getting back at Savannah, maybe someone that was upset with her or someone involved in the family. And then, the motive was that, but then of course money's involved. And then because the money part of it had to be taken out because unfortunately she passed, then that's why we are where we are, if that makes sense. So let's see. Elaine, what is the motive? Yeah. No, I don't know. No, I do not feel like it was a robbery gone bad. Not at all. Not at all. The motive was originally the motive was money. Absolutely. The motive was money. But then the plan went bad. And, as they took her, I feel like that she passed, like I said, either a heart attack, a stroke, and then they didn't know what to do from there because it was already blasted all over the news, right? So then now they had to do something about it. And now this $1 million reward, they don't have her to give back, nor are they going to give her up for the $1 million because they'll be put behind bars. So you got to see kind of how that is. If it was a robbery gone bad, there would have been signs in the home of some things taken, items. And according to the news, according to the media, nothing was ever taken. So it's just interesting, but Susan, do you have a vision of where she may be now? Before you had said possibly near a white building, formerly a chapel, maybe in a waterway. Yeah, I think you might have hopped on, Susan, a little bit later than that. So, or when I had mentioned this, but the white building I was seeing, they mentioned on the news through, like I said, Nancy Grace. I watch her little podcast. She's the only one I've been watching because I feel like she's pretty reputable, and the people she, her guests that she has on, they mentioned the white building. There's a white abandoned home just not far from Nancy's home, and then there's a construction site. I have a feeling that's the white building I kept seeing. Now, as far as where she is, I feel like they've taken her, like I'd mentioned, to that, border, towards the Mexico border. Even that white church, I feel very well could have been even the home, that I saw that was kind of that white. If you've ever been in Arizona, they have that really pretty kind of rounded, scalloped white sides of their home. What do they call stucco? Kind of, yeah. So that's where I'm thinking that is where the vision came in. The waterway, where I had mentioned that I did see that. I felt that she may have been taken near a ravine. I still feel that. I don't feel like there's water. I don't feel like she's in water. I just feel like it's near, maybe because if you know Arizona, they have those, and I don't know if ravine's the right word, but they have the big areas where when there's massive, monsoon rain, that it collects the water. That's what I really felt, still feel that way. Um, Colleen, I wonder if she died in her home and they moved her. I, I personally, I feel like that she was alive when they took her. I really do. I feel that um, because here's the thing, if she would have passed in the home, they would have left her there and they would have just booked it, right? But their intention was to take her for ransom, for kind of revenge money. And then when she passed, they didn't know what to do, So um, that's kind of my feeling there. Whoops, sorry guys, I'm pushing buttons. But let's see if you guys, okay, making sure I'm answering all your questions. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that the timing that I feel, we'll have to kind of keep an eye, right? So Elaine said, you think her body? Yeah, I do think they're going to find her, hun. Yeah, I do. And I think it's going to be, I would say like this date I kept saying, this April 5th date, I feel it's going to be a huge, or, around that date, a huge moment of maybe more stuff has come out. And then, like I said, that May 10th, to see these dates so specific is very rare, by the way. So, but May 10th is 15 weeks from when she disappeared, and that 15 came up. So just kind of going with that. But, again, I don't want to say it's a stretch, but it sits with me in that way where I can't question it. So, it just makes me so sad. So sad. Yeah, Regina. Oh yeah, she could be anywhere, right? I mean, I just don't feel like they went far. I just feel like they, again, the whole how do I put this? So the whole vision, the whole way it played out, that's what I'm trying to say, is that they were already in the home or they were waiting because that back door was unlocked, like I saw in the beginning. They took her. Now, one thing I don't agree with is they had mentioned that she was woken up at 2 a.m. only because her pacemaker went off like crazy at 2 a.m. I feel like that they were in the home. They may have, um, you know, captured her, did something to her almost immediately. And then that 2 a.m. time was when I feel um, that they may have been more aggressive. And then that's when they left the home. That's when the blood was in the home. That's when the blood drops were outside the door. And then I feel like she was alive. She may have had something over her face. They took her out. And I actually saw the layout of the home. And again, if you know Tucson, I mean, it's so dark. They have that light pollution law. You can't have it. So, but what's interesting, it was a full moon that night. It was a full moon. So you guys know on a full moon, unless it's cloudy, that's going to light things up pretty good, right? I'm wondering if it was cloudy that day. That might be something that would be cool to kind of Google if that February 1st or July 31st, late July 31st, February 1st, if it was cloudy that day, but it was a full moon. They took her, and then I feel like they may have taken her to that abandoned home. Someone was waiting, and that was just kind of like a very momentary moment of just kind of keeping her there. And then, they had a plan to even take her further, but then things changed. So that's kind of how the visions have been playing out, and you're right, Colleen, the family needs closure. And that's exactly the biggest thing. And, I can't even watch her daughter when she does like her TikToks and things. I watched a couple times. And as a daughter, I mean, my mom is passed, but it would just be devastating to not know where mom is, you know. Um, Elaine, what happens to the reward money? Yeah, no one's claimed it, my friend. No, there's over a million. I think it's like 1.2 million right now. No one has claimed it. And they literally have put out there that um, if anyone has any information that leads to the recovery of Nancy, that they don't even have to tell their name and that there'll be a drop off of the money. So if anybody knows anything and they can provide it, they're going to for that amount of money. But unless they know that she is not alive and they're involved and they're not, it's not going to be worth it. Right. So, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, good. Jane looked it up. I looked up and it said it was not cloudy that night. Yeah. So, and even the full moon out in Arizona, you know, the houses are so spread out and there's huge cactuses and bushes. It wouldn't be hard, honestly, to you know, walk somebody out and around the corner to, you know, where it's even darker. So it's just, I don't know. It just seems to me that that might be what had happened. But Jordan, do you think it was a drug deal gone wrong that they meant to kidnap some? No, I don't. Uh-uh. Nope, I don't. I don't think it has anything to do with drugs. I don't think it has anything to do with like a bad kid, you know, kidnapping gone bad. I really feel like that someone, in a sense, hired these people to take her, kidnap her for money. And I felt like it was a revenge thing. And then, you know, the people that were going to get the money were all for it. And then when she passed, when she was in their care, now they don't know what to do, you know. So, no, I don't, it's not a random hit. I really do not feel that. I feel like this was so targeted and so planned, just very poorly planned, obviously. But I don't know. I'm gonna stay kind of glued to what's happening. I usually don't. That's why I've told you guys everything I picked up in February was ultimately just what was coming. And now that I've been watching and things are starting to kind of connect with some of the things I was getting, now I'm intrigued and now I'm thinking, gosh, I just hope and pray that they have found her, right? So, yeah, so tragic. Absolutely, Veronica, so tragic. So, regardless, I think we all just need to put out, you know, that love and light and healing energy and prayers and thoughts, especially to, you know, to Savannah, her family, all of Nancy's, I'm sure, family, friends, even the neighbors have done interviews where they're just like devastated, but also like on pins and needles. Can you imagine? Crazy. Elaine, do you think a family member is involved? I do. I do. I know that the news had said, the media had said that the I think it was law enforcement. I don't know if they said FBI, but law enforcement cleared the family. Now they'll say that to protect the integrity of the case. So even though it's out there, it's also one of those things you can't believe everything that, you know, is out there. So it's what's so hard until we actually know, you know, we're never going to know, you know, but I just feel like someone in the family is that third party and or a very close friend that is connected with Savannah. You know, it just immediately right away I did. So I don't know, but that's the third string. The two that did the kidnapping, the one that I feel is the third. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes here, but watch for those dates, you guys. So April 5th around that time and May 10th around that time. The other things that I have not seen come to fruition was the name, the JS name I kept getting, unless maybe something's out there and I just didn't see it. The article of clothing that belonged to Nancy. I know they found like a glove and stuff that wasn't, you know, hers. Also, there what else was there? Oh, even the HF initial, if you guys remember HF. So like H like Harry, F like Frank. So keep these in mind for sure. But Jaden, it was Sheriff Nano's office that said that the family was, yeah, or but Sheriff Nano's having a recall. Yeah. Yep. Boy, Jaden, you are a smart one, my friend. Yep. Yeah, it's really sad. The things that I have heard and read is that yeah, the Sheriff Nanos really botched things. You know, originally I think they thought that she was a silver alert runaway, and then they realized, you know, kind of when it was too late that this was not runaway, that this was, you know, some kind of serious crime where, you know, kidnapping or what may be. But yep, you're right, my friend. And I thought that it was Sheriff Nanos that said that. So again, there's been so many mistakes. It's sad, but you know, at the end of the day, like I said, I just hope that my visions are correct with the respect that they are going to be finding her soon, and they can give that family some dang closure, you know. So, all right, you guys. Well, I wanted to share all of that. Kind of a little quick little random live tonight, but like I said, I'm going to do a live tomorrow night. So hop on tomorrow night. We will, you know, do as we always do. We'll do some free readings. A couple things really quick that I'm going to just throw out there. So next month, April 24th, I'm going to be at Callie's Cafe and Sports Bar in Orem. Tickets are now on sale. They have gone live on my website at mini-medium.com. So come out there and see me. And we're going to have a great time. It's called Spring Fling with Spirit. I'm so excited. It's going to be fun. And then in May, I am going to be doing my Wendover bus. I'm just trying to lock in a date. And then in June 13th, I'm going to be in St. George and going to be doing a fun event, also gallery reading event in St. George, Utah. I have not gone south yet. So keep an eye out for that and come see me if you're able to. So, okay. All right, you guys, thanks for being here. Thank you for supporting and loving me. Did you guys see I just shared? It is my 6 years. 6 years. 6 years ago. Today is when I came out of the broom closet and shared my gifts and started getting that ball rolling. And boy, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you guys and my family, my husband, everybody. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Because of you guys, I get to do what I love to do and share my gifts, and I love it. So I will see you guys tomorrow night, I hope. Okay, all right. Much love. Bye, guys.